The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the Way FM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. Sifting through the insanity to find you something that feels good.
Mucho joy. I like to give away joy for free.
It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
It's tough getting to kids these days with a message that really matters, like, for instance, safety. Safety is a very important thing. That's why the Consumer Product Safety Commission has just released an album.
Oh.
Yes. They have released an album filled with pop beats.
Yes!
But put together with lyrics about different safety issues.
I'm so excited to hear this because they have to be stellar. You know they went to only the best musicians to create this.
It is amazing.
I know it is. I can tell.
It is. Take, for example, this Straight Fire.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
90s hip-hop hit,
Oof.
Protect Your Noggin.
I love it.
When you're in the streets, take caution. Protect your neck and your noggin. When you're in the streets, take caution. Protect your neck and your noggin. When you're in the streets,
Yeah.
take caution.
Listen, that could get in your ears.
It already is.
Yeah, and replay over and over.
So good. When you're in the streets, use caution. Protect your neck and your noggin.
Yeah.
So good.
Or this EDM beat
Oh.
called Put Your Phone Away.
Pay attention. You gotta put your phone away while you're walking.
You gotta put your phone away.
On vacation.
Oh.
You gotta put your phone away.
Wow.
But don't put your glow sticks down.
No.
Okay,
Cats and boots and cats.
I've saved the best for last.
You mean it
great.
gets better?
Yes.
Like,
So
that was all
good.
amazing.
This one is my favorite. And if you could, I know that it's 14 seconds long, but if you could just play the whole thing.
Oh, I will gladly.
It's my new favorite about the importance of smoke detectors.
Oh, okay.
It's called Se Pone Caliente.
Oh, we went Spanish Latin beat.
No way.
I mean it when I say I'm cautious of your love because our love is a flame. Every time that you're around, I gotta check the smoke detector. Don't burn down the house.
Oh, that's so good. That's just a real song.
That's what I'm saying. Well, here's what happened. That is a producer that's like, hey, I can make some money. They're looking for songs. I'll just throw them this one. That's one that was already written about like a chick.
Listen, I think that this is a hit.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
good.
about you. There are 7 songs on this album.
Wow.
Those were only 3, and it can only get better from there.
Let me ask you this. You're at church, okay? You're walking out. New guy at church walks up to you and goes, I got to tell you, every time you're around, I got to check my smoke detectors. Does it work? Does it It does work! Okay! There you go.
We've never claimed he was the brightest bulb.
At no point were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
It's The Wally Show with Smarter Than a Jock.
That's right. You get to take on the smartest man in the... Well, that sounds mean, as you say in the room. The smartest guy on this microphone.
There you go.
Yeah, today. And I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling a little cocky, too.
Yeah, we like to play a game called Smarter Than a Jock, and it's where I get questions of things that you should know. Probably you've learned by 5th grade, I would guess. But surprisingly, there are things that escape your memory once you get older.
Sometimes you forget stuff.
Yeah, and Wally is definitely forgetful in his older age at 55.
Yeah.
And so maybe you're a school teacher and you know these things by heart. Now would be a great time to call.
Yeah, I mean, good luck to you. Good luck beating me. If you too, if by some miracle you pull this out and you beat
Not
me.
much of a miracle.
Although I have a feeling Betty Rock is going to make this so it's hard for me to win.
I'm not. It's going to be a name is your buzzer.
Oh, so we have equal chance.
You have an equal chance.
Because in the past, you have slanted the questions that would not help me.
How dare you, sir?
I dare, sir.
How
I just
dare
dare,
you?
because it's true.
Accuse me of cheating.
So if you want to play and you want to take me on for a prize, good luck to you. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. Can you give me one of the categories so I know what I'm facing?
The periodic table.
As luck would have it, I know every element on the
No, you
periodic
don't.
table. I know a lot of them. I learned them, and I don't know why I remember that.
But you can't remember the person's name that just walked through the door.
Nope, not at all. But I know what iron is on the periodic table. So, all right, here we go. 855-33-WAY-FM. If you want to play Smarter Than a Jock, brought to you by Colorado Christian University, we will do that now.
We've never claimed he was the brightest bulb.
At no point were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
It's The Wally Show with Smarter Than a Jock.
Uplifting Way FM. This is The Wally Show. Patricia, welcome to Smarter Than a Jock, brought to you by Colorado Christian University, where Betty Rock is an alum, and she becomes the teacher today as she is asking us questions, kind of like common knowledge questions that you might have forgotten as an adult. And the way it works is she's going to give us the question, and then your name will be your buzzer. So if you think you know the answer, you'll shout out Patricia. And if you can do that before me and get them right, you will win a prize. You ready?
Yes.
Now, Patricia, what do you do for a living? Are you a teacher?
No. I work for the state of Florida.
Oh, okay. But you know a lot of things. Like...
No, Florida has low test scores. This is good for me.
No, you're from Florida.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I had low test scores. Never mind. We're on an even playing field.
Okay. So here's the first question. And this one is about a quote. Who was once quoted saying, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration"?
I know this quote, too. I'm going to wait for choices, unless Pat's going.
Pat, do you want me to give choices?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Alexander Graham Bell, Andrew Carnegie, or Thomas Edison?
I'll go with Thomas Edison.
Oh, remember, Pat, what do you got to say?
Pat.
Pat, there
Yes?
you go. All right, Pat.
What do you think?
Thomas Edison, I guess.
That is correct. Way to go, Pat!
Nuts! I think I would have missed that one. Oh, good job, Pat. All right, you're up 1-0.
Okay, here we go. This is about the periodic table.
Yes.
The letter K.
Wally,
Okay, what is it?
potassium.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
I told you earlier, I know
Wow.
the periodic table for some reason.
Okay.
That's all that stuck with me from high school.
That is impressive.
1-1. Next question wins. All right, Pat, bring it, girl.
This is about your body and the bones in the body, okay? What is the clinical name for the thigh bone?
Wally,
Okay, what do you think?
I believe it's the femur.
The femur is actually correct.
Yeah!
Dadgummit!
I told you had your work cut out for you today, Pat.
Dang it!
That's okay. That's okay.
Pat, I was cheering for you.
You know what, Pat? I like you, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and give you my prize, okay? Oh, wait, I can't win anything.
Oh, Wally.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now for some good news.
Uplifted! Way FM, this here is The Wally Show. A little good news. Giddy up. A couple rapid-fire good news stories to, make you feel a little bit better about the world we're living in, because the regular news is a bit of a bummer. I came across this video. There was a 15-year-old sister that was just trying to do a TikTok, like influencer style, and you hear this loud scream, and the sister comes running in. Her other little sister had cut her bangs right before picture day.
Oh,
Have you
no.
seen this?
I watched the whole video. It was so cute.
Yeah, it's so funny. So she is like losing her mind. The mom starts yelling something, and they're like, "We're just doing TikToks. It's fine." And so the older sister quickly looks up YouTube videos on how to cut bangs. She actually cut the bangs and redid it and made it look pretty good. She kind of saved the day.
It was cute.
Yeah, so she thought they were like, we're going to get in trouble, but the mom was like, all right, I guess we're good. But she did say, go show your father. And the girl's like, oh my goodness. So everything ended up all right with that one. Gavin, good news, giddy up, go.
Someone in Jacksonville, Florida, snapped a photo of a random guy offering words of encouragement for random people. He stood in a median with a sign for passing cars that said, "Have a wonderful day. I love you."
There you go.
So simple.
It's nice, especially if there's not like an ask on top of that. It's just somebody being nice and not like panhandling. You know what? Good. I might drive by and go, I'm gonna have
And
a
that's
wonderful
it.
day. Yeah.
Great.
I'm going to have a wonderful day now.
Wow.
Betty Lou.
Okay.
An animal charity called Draw for Paws recently launched a new program called Grandpaws, that's Paws,
Love it.
to help older pets get adopted
I
from
love this.
shelters.
This is everything you love. It's like old pets and old people.
Oh, I love it so much. They're having people in retirement homes paint pictures
Nice.
of the older pets and posting them online to hopefully get them adopted. Why are you laughing?
Because you know that, like, there's one old person who used to be an artist, and theirs looks amazing. And then there's another old person that's doing the little corgi, and it looks like a finger painting.
Stop it.
I know, but I'm saying it's adorable.
It is.
Yes.
It's precious.
And that one will probably get adopted. I think it's a great idea, combining those two worlds and trying to get older pets adopted. I think it's great. And the idea of them painting the pictures is great. I just want to see the pictures because I have a feeling some are great and some are a little less than.
People are going to adopt like animals, and they'll be like, that is nothing what the picture shows.
Yeah, exactly. I would like if I was one of the people that adopted the dog, what would be really cool is to be given the picture. Like, I think that would be
I'm sure that
cool.
they would do that.
Yeah,
they have to do that.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Well, there you go. That's going to do it for your good news. Giddy up.
It's easy to let the fear of the unknown keep us from doing something that is good for us. But going back to school might not be quite what you think.
Yeah, one of my biggest fears going back to school was I'd have to watch a ton of online lectures, and I kind of have a problem staying awake during stuff like that. But it was so different than I had imagined, and way better.
Yeah, for sure. I thought I was going to have to take a bunch of tests, which I am not a fan of. But instead, I was able to write papers, which for me was way better.
Plus, you have the flexibility to work in school around your work and life schedule. Another big fear I had is, what if I don't understand something? What do I do?
Yeah, CCU, they foster community with your classmates, and they are a great resource. And Colorado Christian University has very responsive online professors who are there to help you so you are never alone as an online student at CCU.
Learn more about how you can pursue your passion and find your calling with Colorado Christian University at ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a nonprofit impact partner committed to cultivating the mind without compromising the heart.
Who needs an expert opinion when Wally is an expert at sharing his?
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it?
It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
So there was a lady who was on a plane, and she was sitting next to a fellow mother, and this lady had two small kids with her, a baby and a toddler, and she realized that the children's father was sitting back behind them, so she offered to switch seats with the father so that he could be with his family and help the mom, because the mom was a little overwhelmed. Well, the father says thank you, and then sent another kid up there to switch seats with her, and he stayed put.
No, not today.
I look at the horror in your face. This lady was filming a TikTok and felt the exact same way. Like her, what do you think the actual response should have been?
The response should have been, well, if it's only one seat, then it's
right.
Then he leaves the child by himself.
Exactly, and
yeah,
he can't do that.
True.
So his response should have been, no thank you, we'll sit here and I've got my child. It's okay. Thank you, though.
Yes.
That should have been the response.
That should have been the response.
But it was not.
But he took her up on the offer and sent all the children to the mom.
He did.
And he doesn't get to do anything?
No, he just enjoyed the flight.
No, not today. Not today.
See, I used to have the reverse of this when my wife and I would travel. My wife, it looked like I was a single dad. Like this was her time off. And Daddy took over, and I played with Haley for 4-hour flights.
Yes, but you have also in the past referred to watching your daughter as babysitting.
I babysat her for the entire time. Didn't lose her.
It's not babysitting when it's your own child.
Well, okay, this brings up a point. So there was a study recently that said many mothers feel the brunt of the parental labor. Like 9 out of 10 women said that.
Yes.
Okay, now I agree with this a little bit, but you're going to have to hear me out without murdering me.
Okay, once you hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I have friends who are moms, okay?
Yes.
And I have been in situations where I want to make plans with my friend that is a mom, but we can't because the children are with her and the husband doesn't feel comfortable taking on one or two. He doesn't want to be outnumbered. Yet he can go and do whatever he wants with his friends without having to check with the wife to see if the kids are fine.
Look, can I throw this out there then? Okay, and you can weigh in on this as well. Is it possible that this is women's fault?
How? Please explain yourself.
Because you have an innate way of doing things and a specific way of doing things so that when we actually step in to do something, it's always wrong. and you either redo it or you correct how we are doing it. If you're going to ask your husband to do something, short of losing the child or injuring them, you have to just let him do it.
Why can't you, as a
I'm not going to do it your way.
grown man, do it the right way?
No, my way might be the right way. It's not your way, but it might be another acceptable way. See?
I highly
this is
doubt
the problem. Women create their own problem. They feel the burden because they create the burden.
No, because you don't think about putting in an extra pair of pants in case he has a blowout. You don't think of those things.
I will buy extras. I will improvise.
Wrap him in a newspaper.
Yes, I will improvise.
And call it done.
Exactly.
No.
And the child's fine. Everybody survives. See? This is it. This is it. You have your own way of doing it. Okay.
I can't.
855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. Feel free to weigh in on this. If I'm wrong, I'm willing to be wrong. But I think, no, not really. I think you create the problem as women. And maybe some woman will step out and break code and agree with me. That would be amazing. 855-33-WAY-FM. So what do you think about that theory, Abigail?
My mom has said that the reason my dad is the way he is and how he needs help with everything is because when they got together, she completely took over. So she says that's her fault. But now being married and have a kid, when he was like 2 months old, I was doing everything and, taking over when my husband would try to help. And so I had to consciously stop doing that and let him just figure out how to be a dad and accept that the way that he was doing it, just because it wasn't my way, wasn't wrong.
Yes.
And now he is a fully functioning father that I feel totally comfortable raising my children with, and he contributes just as much as I do.
Do you hear yourself?
Yeah, fully functioning, and you feel comfortable leaving him. But that's it. See, that's the thing. Women carry this big burden about raising kids, and then they're like, it's so difficult. If I make one mistake, it's going to ruin everything. And dads are more laissez-faire. They're like, it'll all work out, But they don't like that, and they don't trust that, so they overmanage the situation.
Abigail, I have to ask, what was the hardest thing to step away from that your husband, you could see he was clearly doing it wrong?
It was usually the bedtime routine, getting him to sleep, because he would always just fall asleep right for me, and he would just be crying and crying. And I had to go sit sometimes in the car in the driveway so that I couldn't hear him, so that I wouldn't just step in and intervene.
See, that's the thing. At the core of all of this discussion, though, it's because women truly care. And they truly want the best for their child.
Are you saying men don't care and they don't want what's best?
We care. We just don't feel it to that extent. Like, if the child is crying, it's like, it doesn't pain my soul that I have to go outside because I know my child's hurting. It's like they're crying. They've got to get this worked out. They'll figure it out. They'll fall asleep.
Self-soothing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I really appreciate you weighing in on this today, Abigail. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Scarlett, what do you think about this?
I agree with Wally. I'm a mother of 3 grown men. As long as he kept them alive, and they don't have to be clean, keep them alive, nobody's injured, we're good. Even when my boys made their beds, I'd have to shut the door so I didn't go redo it because then I was afraid it would teach them, well, it's not good enough, and they quit trying. But
because at the core, 2 things are happening. Moms genuinely care, so that's one, and they want their children to be safe and grow up well and healthy and unaffected. But 2, they also carry mom guilt and what other moms think of the way that they're doing it. And dads don't carry that at all. Dads don't even remotely think about that. Like, we'll get together and talk about the things we did with our kids, and it's more about the fun things we did or who almost lost one, and to a woman, they would never say that to another woman.
No. I think society judges the mom more than they judge the dad because the bar is set so low. Even Scarlett said it herself. If the child is alive, then the dad did a good job.
He gets a sticker. He's doing great.
He gets a good job sticker.
Oh, electronic mail.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. If you ever want to get a hold of me and talk about something you heard on the show or just in general, it's wally@wayfm.com. And this is from Ginger. She says, I heard your promo with an artist you had, and someone was telling her that she was anointed. And that was Tasha Layton. You know her from this song. And we had cut a little promo out of our conversation with her.
Everything shifted, and within a few months I had a record deal.
And that's not easy to do either, for the record.
I was leading worship at Church of the City, and this man came up to me backstage and he said, "Who are you? You're anointed."
Oh, wow.
And he had a British accent, so it felt more holy. You know what I mean?
It's so funny because that's not the word I thought was like. I've had those conversations where people go, "Who are you? You're annoying." You know, and like
it sounds very similar,
yeah,
Wally.
up to the first syllable, I'm like, our story is so similar. So we play little things like that, and she goes, "Yeah, Wally joking about that." It occurred to me in that moment that y'all are anointed. What?
See, even then, I thought it was going to say annoying.
No. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
It says sometimes being anointed enough to make people laugh, but oftentimes you touch my heart in meaningful ways by your genuine conversations. So thank you for being annoying and sharing real life with all of us. That's awesome. I love that. I love that she too turns it at the end and gets the sense of humor of the show. So Ginger, thank you so much. If you ever want to get a hold of me, it's very simple. Wally at wayfm.com. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. If you ever watched Fixer Upper, that show with Chip and Joanna Gaines, you're probably aware of like all the houses they redid in Waco, and they had their first house they did on the show, Magnolia House. I've actually been to Waco to see like their stores and everything like that. And it's amazing. I bought a Magnolia hat, like a worker hat, a ball cap.
You did?
And I bought like carpenter's pencils. Yeah.
Do you also remember one year you and your wife dressed as Chip and Joanna Gaines
That's
for
right.
Halloween?
We did. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a fan. Well, their house that they first did on that first season of Fixer Upper, it's an 1800s like farmhouse, and it had 5 bedrooms, 2 baths, and it is up for sale now.
Hey-o.
So what do you think it's going for? They renovated obviously, and it's beautiful.
$2.1 million.
Okay. I actually thought that was good. I'm not going to go quite that high. I'll go 1.5 million.
Okay, both good guesses. Let me tell you this too. There
We're
also
low.
is a carriage house on it. So it has a second house that goes with it on the neighboring property.
2.5.
Yeah, should we double our? It says 3.5.
3.5 million. I mean, it's got Chip and Joanna's,
It's gonna be
handprint
like
all
5.
over it. Okay. You would stay in there?
Yeah.
Okay. For the mere price of
come on now.
$995,000, you could own it.
Oh,
I know, right? It's not that expensive. Isn't that crazy?
What? Why?
For
For
$995
that, yeah.
for 2 houses
Why?
that were redone by them.
'Cause
Well,
it's
Waco
still-
doesn't have Waco's
Yeah.
still Waco.
Like-
That's the way they could do all those amazing houses and redo them all. Because the starting house price of Waco, like they were like finding places that were $100,000, $150,000, and turning them into $300,000 homes. It wasn't like that other show with that guy Tarek and Christina
Out in
where
California.
where they were starting with $1 million home and then fixing it. And so yeah, you could get that 2 homes in Waco for $995,000. I mean, you got to live in Waco, which they have a surf ranch, which is fun, like a wave pool to surf in. So that's good.
And they've got Chip and Joe.
I know it's not bad. Like I went to Waco, I liked it. I thought it was great. I think Baylor University is there, and so it was great. I went to some of the stores. We asked some people, where does Joanna shop to find all those things? And we went to stores where she shopped, and I actually bought stuff and made
smart.
stuff out of it, like thrift stores and
You're
things
such
like
a
that.
fangirl.
Oh, I did. I totally fangirl. If you do buy it, you could use it as an Airbnb. Apparently, they've been renting it out. Whoever owns it now, or if, I guess they still own it, but they've been doing it as an Airbnb. $7.95 a night or $9.95 on weekends.
That's pretty high.
That's good money, though. Like,
yeah,
that's good money.
If you're getting it, and I'm sure people, like, the Fixer Upper fans, like, flock to that stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you just want to go stay there and see it. And there's one room that is all shiplap. This was in her shiplap phase. Roof and all 4 walls, shiplap. I like shiplap. It's a little much.
It's a bit much.
I think it would be fun to. What I would do is I would contact HGTV and I would say, "Hey, I'm buying the Chip and Joanna Gaines Magnolia house, but I want to do a show on renovating it because it's atrocious." Like, how great would that be? Because they're not on that network anymore. They have their own network, and so they couldn't stop it. That would be a great show.
You are able to turn something so beautiful into something so evil, and it is amazing.
And I am so proud of myself.
He's kind of smart.
Guys have underestimated me my entire life.
Sorry, read that wrong. He's kind and smart. It's News-ish with Gavin.
I'm sure that a lot of people are incredibly annoyed by the rising prices of everything over these last few years. But I think particularly, it mostly applies to restaurant prices?
I went to Moe's just the other day, and my wife got a stack. I got a quesadilla, and we each got drinks, and they were out of the drink that she liked, but it was already too late, and she had ordered one. $26. $26 for a fast food Moe's. It's wrong. And again, the only way that changes is if A, you stop going, or B, we hit a recession.
Sure.
None of that's changing otherwise. We've seen the last of like $8 meals even. Everything's 10.
I mean, go back to, 4 years ago, you're paying like $2 for like gas at the pump. You're getting like reasonably priced food. You could buy a house, in a city if you wanted to. I think, this world is kind of perfectly encapsulated by this situation at a California restaurant. And you kind of shared with me a couple days ago, like details about California raising minimum
for quick
wage,
serve
right?
restaurants up to $20 an hour. And I talked to a guy that was a COO like for Hardee's, and he's like, I wouldn't want to work in California. He left, he's doing his own thing, but he's like, I wouldn't want to work in California because of that. It costs you too much now to do that. And then what happens is you either automate, and so you actually lose jobs, and then you have less people doing the jobs, and so they have to work harder.
Sure.
So it's not a great situation.
No,
and ultimately the customer ends up paying more.
Sure. And like speaking of paying more, there was a photo that's going around that's going viral because this guy took a photo of his receipt, and on that receipt you see an 18% service fee for parties larger than one person.
Oh, come on.
So that, I think, just like is one of those things that just is added on top of this pile of just insanity that is food and the food industry, especially in a state like California.
To be able to say, it's just a service fee and we're charging this, absolutely not. And it better be posted somewhere in your restaurant on the menu, because you order and you figure in your head, because everybody does, you figure in your head what you're going to be paying, and then you've got a tip, and so then a service fee, absolutely not. COVID taught everybody how to do that.
Recently, just yesterday, I went to a place to eat with some friends, and all I had to do was I had to stand in line to put in my order. So I'm not sitting down and looking at a menu. I have to stand in line and wait, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I go up to the employee. They have an iPad. I tell them what I want, and they plug it in, and then they flip the iPad over, and it says tip.
Yeah.
I put no tip.
Good.
Okay. And I go on with my day. They filled up my water cup.
Yeah.
Okay. I go and I sit down, and they bring me my food, and that was it.
Yeah.
If I wanted like a spoon or fork, I had to go up and get it. If I wanted a refill, I had to go up and get it.
Right.
Because there's
It's
no
not service.
point.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not service.
tip worthy.
Tipping is for exceptional service, but we've gotten to where, again, COVID did this too, where in COVID you wanted to over-tip because people were just trying to keep the lights on and keep people working, but then it became the norm. And again, you don't put the genie back in the bottle with a lot of things, and that's one of them. And so now it's become the accepted norm. Oh, well, you should tip for this and this and this. A service charge for this, this, and this. Like, that's where we're going to completely get out of control, and eventually that bubble is going to burst, and it will not it will not end well for all of us, because we'll end up in a recession if we keep this nonsense up. Well, there you go. I don't feel better.
Sorry, this wasn't good news.
I know it wasn't good news. No, it was just news today.
You find out who your friends are. Somebody's gonna drop everything.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. There are a few defining moments in your life when you find out who your friends are, and sometimes it can be one of the most painful experiences of your life to find out that you are utterly alone. And that's what. Listen to her laugh. Listen to the cackle, if you will. That is what happened to me yesterday.
You're painting me in a bad light, but I think
You weren't alone.
Well, that's true. I think in all honesty, you would be thankful for my honesty, because here's the thing. You have said before in the past, you want people to be brutally honest. You've been brutally honest with people, like your wife before, when she's worn a pair of pants that you were like,
yeah, not a good look.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like that's what I did for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the situation was I wore a hat I bought while I was on vacation that I really liked a lot. And so I wear this hat, and Betty's like, oh. But it wasn't just like, oh, that's an interesting choice, or I don't know if I care for that particularly. The way you said it was like, oh my gosh.
It was my tone.
That is the worst thing ever. It makes you look shorter. And
it did,
yeah.
and it made your face look smaller,
right?
Almost like someone had taken you and tried to shrink you down, like push you down.
So then later on, Gavin walks in and just like, oh, That's horrible. Like, okay, great. So I got 2 against me. Then I'm walking through the building and I run into Becca, who does afternoons, and she goes, what is this? What are you doing? Like literally, these are the first things people are saying to me. And I'm like, I'm wearing a hat. And she's like, oh no, that's horrible. I'm like, wow.
And you kept it on.
Of course I did. I'm not running away from that. I'll lean into it. You're lucky I'm not wearing it today.
Well, I think you would want to know. It's kind of like if you have toilet paper on the bottom of your shoe. You want to know.
Yeah.
That's what the hat was.
You want to know.
I want it kindly to be told to me, and then like away from everybody else.
Well, I'm sorry. It was just so shocking.
You're not a kid.
It was not that shocking. It was a hat.
I wasn't prepared for what I was going to see.
Gavin's was retaliatory. I know Gavin was retaliatory. When he saw you jump in on me, he was like, finally, I can get this off my chest. So he went at me because Betty Rock and I made fun of him for wearing a bandana one week to work.
That was a rough choice.
It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a bad choice. But like when
he wore it around his head.
Yeah.
Guys.
I have experience with a bad choice, so I recognize what a bad choice looks like.
And you were thankful that we pointed yours out to you, right, Gavin?
Sure. Yeah. But had the roles been reversed, and because I walk on eggshells around you and your hair. Like I cannot. If I say, hey, your hair looks good today, you're like, what? What do you mean? It didn't look good yesterday? I'm like, there's so many things I can't say to you. Oh, you look really nice today. Do you have a video shoot? What? I don't look nice every day?
I just like to give you a hard time.
I don't know. It's so hard.
But also too, and this might hurt a little bit.
Oh no.
So I posted a picture of you and your hat on our stories on Instagram. So if you search Wally Show, you can see it there. But I asked people what were their thoughts, and the choices were, it's a look or I love it. Okay, so around 300 people voted, and 78% of those 300 people said
it's a look. Okay. All right. Well, that's brutal. So I might be giving away this hat as a prize on the show.
I hope it didn't cost you too much.
It was more than I would have for this kind of backlash than I would have got. So, okay. All right. So here, let's spin this out to you a little bit. What is your fashion faux pas? Gavin wore a headband for some reason. Apparently, I just wore a hat, and that was a faux pas that's breaking the internet, or at least our internet. And then what was yours? 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. Have you ever had that fashion faux pas and people like called you on it and hurt your soul? That's what I'm curious about. I'm a wounded fawn right now. Yeah.
A fragile flower.
I am. 855-33-WAY-FM. Uplifting WAY-FM. This is the Wally Show. We kind of had something that happened off the air the other day. I wore a hat, apparently, a normal thing that people do, and I was just berated by everyone. You might think, did it say something on it that was controversial? No, it was just my head in it. And apparently that just like threw everybody into a tizzy here. Betty started the thing rolling, then Gavin jumped in, then Becca jumped in. Everyone's like, that is hideous. Like no one said anything like even remotely soft about it. It was all very direct.
Your wife did come to work a little bit later that day.
Yeah.
To your defense.
Yeah, she likes it.
Looks good on you.
Yeah, exactly.
But she also likes your earrings too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, there's nothing wrong with those.
Just you.
Rock.
Listen, we don't say that all hats are a bad look for you.
No, you just say that. Okay.
And this wasn't like a ball cap. This was like a fedora
like you wear this
type.
ball cap every now and then. It looks great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just this one that we were like,
There's a lot. It piled on.
Well, we posted a picture of it on our Instagram account. You can look at it if you search Wally Show there.
I have PTSD.
But Roz commented on it, and she said, it looks like Wally's trying to be Toby Mac, but it's not working.
I'm Toby Whack. I get it. Okay, I get it. Yeah, Toby likes hats too. And it's so funny. Like I didn't. Okay, the story behind this hat was too. I was on a cruise and we were out of the country, and I saw this hat in one place, one market, and one country. And I'm like, oh, I should have bought that. Nuts! I didn't buy it. I really wanted it. So I'm like, so we go to another country. and we're stopped on the port there, and it's another Stetson store. And it's not a cowboy hat, for the record.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been great. I would have made fun of me. And so I don't get it. I go to a third stop, another place, another port.
What?
And
Why?
it's there. And by that time, my wife was like, "You've looked at it every time. Go ahead and get it. I think it looks really nice on you." So I got it. And then apparently, maybe she's submarining me. Maybe she knew it looked horrible on me, and she's just trying to make me less attractive or something. I don't know.
Maybe so. I don't know. I think I would consider that a fashion
faux pas.
Faux pas.
Absolutely.
Recently, Amanda, she shared on Facebook what her most recent fashion faux pas was. She said, "I wore a black jacket with navy pants." And you know, like when it comes to
Why
mixing,
don't those mix? I've never understood
you're
that.
not supposed to do it.
Am I just a guy here? Like,
Yeah.
that just
Black
seems
doesn't
weird.
go with blue, but brown goes with blue.
Right, exactly.
But brown can't. Well, sometimes
I
I've
don't
seen
like
people
brown
do
and black
brown
together. Yeah, I don't like that together.
Anyway, she said she wore a black jacket with navy pants, and one of my students said she, quote, couldn't take me seriously in Blavey. In Blavey.
That's so great. Kids are as honest as Betty. That's fun. All right, we got time for one or two more. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. Have you ever had a fashion faux pas? You thought you looked great. You went out and people just did not respond in the way that you were hoping they would. Maybe you wore a skirt that was a little younger than your age, possibly. I think that happens too. So 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours now. So, Tammy, have you ever had a fashion faux pas?
I wore a mint green skirt with a mint green and white blouse. I thought it was cute, and everybody wanted to know if I was sick all day long.
Oh, maybe it didn't make your complexion. It didn't match with your complexion. It washed you out.
Are you more of a jewel tone?
Yes, ma'am.
I get it.
So did you appreciate them speaking up and asking you this question? Or
No, she didn't. No one does.
No, because you don't want to keep wearing it and no one speaks up, and then everyone's thinking you look sick or something's wrong with you.
What do you think, Tammy?
I got rid of the outfit.
Yeah, see, I'm not getting rid of my hat. I should have worn it today just to double down because I'm wearing a shirt that Betty hates too. So
I don't hate it. I just think it has baby doll puffy sleeves.
No, it doesn't have baby doll puffy sleeves.
Yes, it does.
No.
And I think as a 55-year-old grown man, you shouldn't wear a shirt that has baby doll puffy sleeves.
It puffs a little on the shoulder, but not like a baby doll shirt, okay?
Okay.
All right, Allison, you're up. What was your fashion faux pas?
Well, I was getting ready for worship team one Sunday morning and had this distressed denim jacket and thought I had really nailed it.
Yeah, you were feeling yourself.
I was feeling like I'm looking pretty good here. And I'm walking out the door, and my 15-year-old daughter looks me up and down and says, "Mom, you look like you're going to a hoedown."
Were you wearing cowboy boots too?
No, I was wearing those like black suede leather booty shoes, but they weren't cowboy.
No, that's
But
great.
anyway,
It's a strong look. Don't you let a 15-year-old dissuade you. What do they know?
Allison, did you change? Did you turn around and change or no?
No, because I did not have time.
Did anyone compliment you on your outfit when you got there? Like, Allison, you look really nice.
Yes.
See? Don't let anybody talk you out of it. Don't let anyone steal your sparkle.
The Bible say in 2nd Deuteronomy of the book of Jericho that the eye for the tooth and the tooth for the people, and everybody who got the eye, you punch them in it. What? I can tell you don't read the Bible.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and I love that our small group leader always asks us, "Hey, what do you want to do studies on this time?" And so he gives us some options, and one of the options was misused Bible verses, and I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Yes, please, because I love the context of the history and the story around verses, and I love refuting when things that we get wrong inside of the faith, and you can back that up and be like, no, that's not what the Bible actually says. So I was so excited for this study, and right out of the gate, man, we jumped in with one that I hear all the time, especially at concerts. I hear it from sermons from pastors and stuff like that. It's Matthew 18:20, which rock is? Wait, I thought you read through the Bible in a year. No, I wouldn't expect you to get that one. You'll know it, though. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them.
Good
job, exactly. Betty. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nailed
Thank you,
that. And so, like, you hear this all the time, worship leaders, like, hey, wherever 2 or more are gathered, and we're going to praise God. God is in this place because 2 or more are gathered. Yes. And while that is true, God's in that place regardless of the number, whether there's 2, whether there's 1, whether there's 10, whether there's 10,000. God's there. He's omnipresent. But they use that as this justification for now it's going to be a real spiritual moment because the Lord, the Spirit of God has joined us here because we are gathered. But that wasn't the context of this verse. The context of this verse was actually dealing with church discipline. We take it out of context to show this. Now, does it mean that gathering and worshiping together is wrong? Absolutely not. But using this verse for that is not accurate. This verse is about how you're supposed to handle disagreements with others. And so the context of this in this time, the Jewish people would have known exactly what this meant because they had a way of dealing, that they were supposed to deal scripturally with disagreements. And it was with 2 or more people joining together to go to this person to talk to them directly and solve it that way. And what the Bible is saying is that wherever 2 or more are gathered to go handle this disagreement, I'm in that. I'm with you. And you need to handle your disagreement the right way. And I will be in that process with you. So it's 2 completely different things, but we cherry pick verses all the time that just sound in a soundbite what we need it to say to match what we want to have happen. And so there you go. I thought that was fascinating. And so then Pastor Chad, who works on staff with us here, tried to trap him like a Pharisee did to Jesus. I'm like, hey, you know that verse about Matthew 18:20 about 2 or more are gathered? He's like, oh yeah, the one about church discipline. I'm like, yes, we made the right decision with him.
Wow.
Yes, I was so proud of him.
The test.
It was a test and he passed with flying colors. And that's why he's in charge of the prayer wall at wayfm.com.
And when you text pray to 91979.
There you go.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Rock Report with Betty Rock.
Let me ask you, Wally and Gavin, each of you answer this question. How desperate would you be to snag a seat on a space shuttle leaving Earth so you could experience space?
Oh, 100%. I would love to do that. If somebody said, I will, because it costs millions of dollars, but if someone said, hey, I will do this for you, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Really? Gavin,
yes.
Would you?
I would be scared to do it.
Really?
But I think I would do it.
Oh.
I think it does scare me, just this world that,
everything, I get
it's
it.
just not... No.
Most
Going
things.
out into space, you just never know if something's going to go wrong.
A handful of people have done it, man.
And also a lot of people have died out there too.
I don't want to be part of that handful.
Yeah, don't be in that hand, be in the other hand. But very few people had. And again, at any party,
I know.
you have the most interesting story.
It's not about beating people in storytelling, though. Sometimes it's about living life that's more important.
Yeah, and living it to the fullest and experiencing. I can't even imagine, on a serious note, I can't even imagine if you're a believer what that is like to go to space and see more of God's handiwork.
Oh, I'm sure.
The closest we can get to it, that'd be amazing.
I'm sure, but I would rather watch a YouTube video about it, for sure. Well, it turns out A-list actor Tom Hanks, he's pretty desperate to experience it. In a recent interview, he admitted that he would lower himself just as low as making himself a servant on the ship if it meant he would be handed a ticket on board, which is a little bit confusing to me because I looked to see what his net worth is.
Yeah.
$400 million.
Yeah.
He can afford a ticket but I don't know if it's something like his wife won't let him buy one.
It's like $6 million, something like that, to go to space now.
He could afford that.
He wouldn't even miss it.
Yeah.
Like when you're worth $400 million, $6 million is like let me, how much change do I have in my pocket? I have none. I'm broke. But like it literally would be like pocket change.
Right. Well, I guess he doesn't see it that way. He said that he would be willing to do chores, and he said, including cleaning the toilets, folding laundry, and serving the food.
Okay, now there are some downsides of going to space, because I went to space camp. That was the closest I could get. I took my daughter. I still wear my dog tag that I got from it. You get like a little dog tag.
You gotta say it like this. I still have my
My
dog tag
Yes,
that I got
have
from space
I have
camp.
my dog tag from space camp. It's amazing. But it's so bad though. One time I had my shirt on and someone's like, "Oh, hey, what branch were you in?" I'm like, "Oh man,
Space camp.
Space
Force.
Space Force, kind of." Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. And it's great when you love your job and you get to go in and do it and you don't feel like you're working. That's why I was surprised to hear something from actor Chris Evans, Captain America, because we always think like celebrities, and actors, man, you got the best life ever. You got the best job. Must be amazing.
Because they have all the money. They can afford anything.
Right. And again, that's where we equate money to happiness. Like it's money we don't have to happiness, and it just doesn't work that way. But Chris Evans actually said he could do without acting. And you're like, oh, wow. He said, when I look at my own life and it's under a microscope, or when I consider my own experience, it leads to cyclical unhappiness.
Man, that's a bold statement.
Exactly.
Because you would think the complete opposite. Like, if anything, I think most of us would agree, if we found ourselves as an A-list actor in Hollywood, it would be anything but
unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there you go.
Yep.
Like, that just goes to show you sometimes the things that you want more than anything else in the world are not what you need. And that's where trying to, not to make this overly spiritual, but trying to find God's will for your life and trying to do things that make Him happy, you find more contentment in, And so he did say that, he goes, I could just make furniture for nobody and be happy. Like, that's what he's like, I could walk away from acting, I could just make furniture for nobody and be happy. So basically be a carpenter for himself. I actually understand that. Like, I love making things, and I sell some, I mainly give things away, and I'll build pieces for people, but I love it, and I like to sit there and create it, and it truly makes me happy, and I don't even have to sell it, and I love it, so I understand him. That's where Chris Evans and my similarities end.
They begin and end.
Yeah, exactly. That was it right there, So I want you to fill in this blank for us, okay? If I weren't a blank, I would be a blank. Maybe you are an accountant, but you really wanted to be a baseball player or what have you, but your path went a different direction. I'm just curious. If I weren't a blank, I would be a blank. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY FM. Would love to have you weigh in on this. What would you be?
So if I weren't a lawyer, I'd be a social worker.
That's interesting. What kind of law do you practice?
I do disability rights advocacy and protection.
Okay, so that kind of already is where you're at. Like, you have the ability or the heart to help people, it sounds like.
Yeah, but if I was a social worker, I would have avoided student loans, and I'd be able to, work with people one-on-one.
What kind of car are you driving?
Dodge Journey.
Okay, you wouldn't be driving that. You'd be in a Chevette or a Gremlin, a 1979 Gremlin. Well, Rachel, we appreciate you being on the show with us today. I am curious. We've talked to you for about a minute now. What would that cost me if you were billing me as a lawyer?
Probably $30.
All right, $30.
That's not bad.
Betty, write her a check. She's amazing.
Why
She's helped
me?
out so much because I don't have $30. How would you fill in those blanks? If I weren't a blank, I would be a blank.
Well, if I were not an administrative assistant, I would be a baker. I bake fresh milled bread. I mill my flour, and I love to bake bread, and then I give it to my friends and neighbors.
There you go.
And I do it with cookies and other desserts.
Now, do they say that you're really good at this, or they're like, this is the best bread I've ever had?
Actually, yes, sir. In fact, I took my chiropractor some cookies, and she thanked me like a month later, she said, those were the best I've ever had.
You know what? You never know. Sometimes you got to break out and take a chance. You've got your job, so you're an admin, and that is what funds you taking your hobby and turning it into a business. So many women do this. They take something they're really good at, and they turn it into online businesses. Women are great at this. I think they've mastered how to use social media and the internet to build their own industries, and sometimes they blow up for them. And if nothing else, you'd be doing what you love doing.
Exactly. I'm not ready to leave the job yet, but I will keep sharing the goodies with people.
Well, Lily, I appreciate you being on the show with us today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Real quick, before we get out, I am curious, Betty Rock, how would you fill in those blanks? If I weren't a blank, I would be a blank.
If I weren't in radio, I would own a cat cafe.
Oh, yes. That's good. You know what?
Run and
Sometimes I have found that, like, when somebody frees up your future, it seems scary, but then you get to go do what you really wanted to do. Like, so getting fired could be the best thing for you.
Let's not plant that seed.
No, because I'll talk to some people.
No,
I want you to have your cat cafe.
No,
I'll come to it.
I don't want it that bad.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, Gavin, fill in that blank.
I don't think I've ever talked about this too many times, but I would, instead of being a radio producer, I wouldn't mind managing Airbnbs.
Oh, that's interesting.
I can see that.
Just for like the last few years, we've gone on some trips, and like that first moment, then you walk into a new place and it's just like pristine and it's comfortable, and maybe they've left some cool like tips on how to enjoy the place you're at. I'd love to do that for people and have great trips.
You know what you could do?
Yeah.
You could find a small place and purchase it and do the Airbnb thing. Because I know like right now you're renting and you want to buy a house, but what you could do is do that first, let that build up money for you.
True.
And then you buy your house later. You push that off a little bit to do something that then is going to help pay for your house in the future too.
Why are you being so hopeful about his idea and you're kicking me out the door under a bus?
He believes so hard in
Yes,
your
I believe
dream.
that you could have an amazing cat cafe and that we are holding you back. So we want you to experience everything. We want you to be the best Betty you can be.
Sorry I asked.
Yeah, so I'll make some calls today.
Random acts of audio.
Today's random act of audio comes to us courtesy of one of our bosses, Tim. See, a servant leader is somebody who doesn't know, just that you like coffee. It's somebody that serves you the coffee that you like and gives you, they know what you like. They know what you need. And that's what Tim did. He served up a video to Betty about Bucees. Which he knows her.
I love me some Bucees.
I know you do. She wants a Bucees onesie.
It's a gas station that has a beaver as its mascot.
Yeah.
And they're known all around the South, I guess, but not up
It's glorious.
north.
100 gas pumps, clean bathrooms, saltwater taffy.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But anyways, there is a Christian comedian. His name is Tim Hawkins. And he wrote a song about Bucees. I think it's a new hit for him.
All right, well, here we go. Let's check it out.
Well, I don't know if we really landed people on the moon. I'm not sure if Lady Gaga uses auto-tune. And I'm uncertain there'll be peace over in the Middle East. But I just saw a big sign, honey, and one thing is true. That I do know we'll be stopping at Bucees. Time to have some fun. Like a gas station, car wash, barbecue, Cracker Barrel, Walmart, all at once. I've been driving these wide open spaces. Now I need a redneck oasis. Take my money, bucket, baby. It's my lucky day.
Oh, so good.
Wild sauce, beaver nuggets, try a little fudge, turkey, and a pulled pork sandwich just because.
Yeah,
Get a little
I mean, they
boy.
have everything. That's what I
They
love.
do. They have you could do all of your Christmas shopping there at Bucees
I did
and
all
get a
of-
tank of gas.
Yeah, I did all of Betty's birthday shopping at Bucees.
It was one of the best birthdays
It was a
ever.
beautiful Bucees birthday for her. And so there you go. I know what I'm getting you for Christmas, too, that Bucees onesie.
Yay!
Yay! Well, nicely done, Tim Hawkins. That's your random active audio for today.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.